People connected to 50 Cent were spotted near T.I.'s Atlanta mansion, not in a comment section, not on a diss track, near his property. When that footage started circulating, the conversation about this beef changed completely. Because there's a difference between two rappers trading shots on Instagram and someone showing up near your home. One is entertainment, the other is a message. But to understand what that footage actually meant, you have to go back to where all of this started and how fast it escalated from a podcast conversation to something nobody expected. In February 2026, T.A. appeared on $1 Million Worth of Game and brought up the idea of a versus battle with 50 Cent. He didn't frame it as wishful thinking. He framed it as something that had already been discussed behind closed doors, a plan that 50 allegedly agreed to, then quietly backed away from. In hip-hop, that framing carries weight. It doesn't just suggest someone passed on an opportunity, it implies hesitation. And when I put those words on record publicly, 50's response wasn't a calm denial. He went to the comment section and called T.I. King Rat. That phrase isn't casual trash talk. In hip-hop culture, calling someone a rat questions their street credibility, implies cooperation, suggests betrayal. It's one of the heaviest labels you can drop, and it instantly shifted the conversation from a versus disagreement to a character attack. T.I. fired back immediately. He warned 50 not to play with his name and hinted he had paperwork of his own. What had started as a catalog debate was now personal. Two veterans with decades in the industry, both with real reputations on the line, throwing accusations that don't just disappear after a news cycle. Still, at that point, it was contained. Two grown men, competitive, heated, but still within the usual boundaries of rap beef. That changed the moment 50 posted a photo of Tiny Harris. The image was unflattering, a stage photo at an awkward angle. The caption was short but aimed directly at T.I., warning him to keep 50's name out of his mouth. Tiny hadn't said a word publicly about any of this. She wasn't on podcasts, she wasn't in comment sections, she was uninvolved, and she became the target anyway. Fans split immediately. Some called it classic 50 provocation. Others said it crossed a line that usually stays uncrossed. But the loudest reaction didn't come from blogs or industry figures. It came from King Harris. At 21 years old, King had grown up watching his father navigate public battles. But this one was different. This was about his mother. He jumped into comment sections and Instagram stories within hours, firing directly at 50 with no filter and no strategy. Just raw anger. He referenced 50's past legal history. He posted old court images. He brought up 50's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who was killed when 50 was 8 years old. A wound that never fully closed. In hip-hop culture, mentioning someone's deceased parent is one of the most sensitive lines that exists. King crossed it fast and loud. Now it wasn't just rap pride, it was family pride. And once family enters a beef, the rules change. King didn't stop at Instagram. He stepped into the booth and dropped a diss track called Made Man. The tone wasn't playful, it was personal. He framed himself as someone protecting his household, not chasing attention. And the timing coordinated naturally with T.I., who had already released War and The Right One, tracks with pointed bars and sharpening references to 50's past relationships and history. Suddenly, 50 wasn't facing one opponent. He was facing a father and son on two different fronts simultaneously. Then King escalated further. He began posting what he claimed were legal documents suggesting 50 had cooperated with federal authorities in a past case. Whether fully verified or not, the optics alone were explosive. In hip-hop, allegations like that carry serious weight regardless of courtroom proof. Fans debated authenticity, bloggers dissected every page, reaction channels ran with it for days. And then, 50 did something unexpected. He deleted the posts. The same Instagram account that had fired at Tiny, clapped back at King, and kept the pressure running for weeks quietly wiped multiple posts. No explanation, no caption, just gone. For most artists, a deletion wouldn't mean much, but 50 built his public image on never retreating. For 2 decades, he has doubled down under pressure, from Ja Rule to Rick Ross to Floyd Mayweather. When he goes quiet, it rarely means the situation is cooling down. It usually means something is being recalculated. The timing made it feel even more deliberate. Made Man was still circulating. The alleged paperwork was being reposted constantly. T.I.'s tracks were trending. Instead of escalating musically, 50 went silent. And people who had watched him operate for 20 years knew what that silence often looked like. Just days earlier, 50 had used a completely different kind of leverage in another public conflict. When Jim Jones's podcast crew criticized his documentary, 50 didn't respond with bars. He posted surveillance footage of Jones kicking through a locked studio door, attached eviction paperwork, and stood next to the building owner claiming partnership. The message wasn't subtle. It was about access, presence, control, show footage, show location, show connection. That blueprint was already established when the Atlanta footage appeared. Clips began circulating showing individuals allegedly connected to 50 Cent near property belonging to T.I. in Atlanta. No confrontation caught on camera, no shouting, no direct interaction, just presence near the gates of his home. And that was enough, because timing is everything. This came right after diss tracks, right after alleged paperwork, right after deleted posts. So, when fans saw people tied to 50 anywhere near T's Atlanta property, coincidence wasn't the first interpretation anyone reached for. Was it intimidation? Was it a warning? Was it completely unrelated and the internet made it something it wasn't? Nobody could confirm it officially. No statement tied 50 directly to the footage. No confrontation was reported. But in hip-hop, optics move faster than facts. And the optics were impossible to ignore. Even the South Fulton Police Department entered the conversation, posting a lighthearted message joking that vocabulary disputes were outside their jurisdiction. It was meant as humor. But when law enforcement's social media accounts are acknowledging a rap feud by name, the situation has clearly reached a visibility level that goes beyond normal internet beef. Atlanta isn't neutral ground. It's T.I.'s city. He built his reputation there, helped define Southern rap's national dominance, and calls himself the king of the South for reasons the culture has largely accepted. Presence near that space, even unconfirmed presence, carries symbolic weight that a comment section never could. And that's what separates this moment from everything that came before it in this particular beef. Words on a screen are one thing. Physical proximity to someone's home is another conversation entirely. What makes all of this even more layered is that 3 different people are fighting for 3 completely different things at the same time. T.I. has said his upcoming album, Kill the King, will be his final chapter. That title alone is a statement, a legacy move from someone who knows exactly how he wants to be remembered. For him, this isn't casual. A man wrapping up a 2-decade career doesn't engage in a major public beef by accident. Every move is connected to how that final chapter reads. King Harris is 21 years old and still building his name. Defending his mother earns respect in the short term and proves he won't be silent, but it also places him in direct conflict with someone who has outlasted and outmaneuvered nearly every opponent he's ever faced. There's a version of this where King comes out looking solid. There's also a version where the attention he generated becomes more complicated to manage than he expected. And 50 Cent was never just a rapper in this situation. He's a television producer, a Broadway executive producer, a businessman running multiple ventures simultaneously. He doesn't separate beef from business. He blends them. Every post serves a purpose. Every silence is calculated. The question with him is never whether he's done. It's what he's positioning for next. No truce has been announced, no public sit-down, no official statement saying any of this is over. Just tension that hasn't fully released, footage that raised questions nobody has formally answered, and 3 names that are still trending weeks after the first podcast clip dropped. What started as a Versus disagreement became a family battle. The family battle became diss tracks. The diss tracks became alleged federal paperwork. The paperwork became deleted posts, and the deleted posts were followed by footage near someone's home. That progression matters, because when a beef moves from words to physical proximity, even without confirmed confrontation, the stakes are no longer purely musical. They're personal in a way that's harder to walk back from. The internet is still watching. Atlanta is still watching. And in this situation, silence from any of the 3 people involved has never meant it was over. It's usually meant something was coming next.